Thank you so much for having me. It's great to be here.
Now, International Director based in London, we were talking about Mother's Day beforehand. For you, this is literally going the extra mile for Mother's Day, popping back to New Zealand from London to visit your mum?
Yeah, God bless her, 93-year-old Daphne from Kerikeri. So come back to say hi for Mother's Day.
No, very good.
Nice.
Yeah.
Hey, it is wonderful to have you back because shortly after you were appointed the head world global boss of Leprosy Mission, things got locked down and you've been stuck in London for quite a while.
Yeah, it's been just a huge adjustment of having to work differently. But you know, life goes on for people with leprosy in the developing world. Look, things have got to go on. You know, you still need to eat, you still need to survive, and so we have to work differently to carry on supporting these folks, and which is exactly what we've done as best we can.
So, Brent, with the Leprosy Mission, you're based in London now, but still got that Kiwi connection. Can you tell us about this? How does a New Zealand Leprosy Mission fit within the overall one?
Yeah, well, I'm one of the first of many New Zealanders who have worked internationally. Doctors, nurses, physiotherapists, people like myself. So New Zealand has this long history of working internationally with leprosy. So I'm one of the people who have done that and are doing that. But yeah, we have a head office in London, which is where I'm based. And part of what we're doing is trying to coordinate our global efforts to defeat leprosy and transform lives.
Well, glad to hear you haven't lost your Kiwi accent in the process of that one.
You know, sometimes, Andrew, when I'm at certain locations, I was in Belfast not so long back, and one gentleman said, "We can hear you, we just can't understand you."
Which is pretty rich coming from Belfast, actually. Exactly.
But it's nice to be able to speak in your own accent.
Well, it is nice to say kia ora every now and again, isn't it?
Absolutely.
Hey, in terms of the work of the Leprosy Mission, I suppose something which the world has learnt in the last 2+ years is the importance of taking communicable diseases seriously.
Yeah.
Here in Aotearoa, of course, we've had an elimination strategy, but hey, catch up. Leprosy Mission's had an elimination strategy for years now. Yeah,
and this whole thing, ideas like contact tracing and being able to follow people who have contacted disease, and you know, in our case it's leprosy, and we always try and make sure people, whānau, friends, people close by, workmates, we make sure that they're all tested and treated as well, and that's really important. So there is this similarity with what most of us in the world have been through with COVID.
2035, now that is the goal, the year that you're looking at to eradicate leprosy. Is this possible?
Well, I think you have to aspire to goals that are out there, and that's what we're doing with our 2035 goal. And we want to stop leprosy transmission. So we want to stop new cases of leprosy starting up. So that's our goal, and because after you've turned off the tap, all you're doing is really looking after, working alongside people who already have leprosy. So we're trying to turn off the tap, we're trying to stop the flow.
Okay.
With the impact of COVID-19, I know it's disrupted a lot of plans. Has it made the situation slightly worse, or is it actually, no, with all the isolation, with all the reduced amount of travel, maybe it's even improved the situation? Which way did it go?
Unfortunately, the numbers will tell you it's improved, but it's just because fewer cases have been diagnosed. The World Health Organization, who collect data every year, is saying, hey, less leprosy, but we know it's because cases haven't been found. So it's not good news. We want people with leprosy to be diagnosed as quickly as possible, treated as quickly as possible, so we can get to the 2035 goal.
Now, it may be news to some people, but you can actually treat leprosy and be cured of it. Can you tell us how that all works?
Yeah, sure. So goal is try and get to people as quickly as possible, as soon as they have symptoms, maybe sometimes even before. Give them a course of antibiotics, normally 6 to 12 months. Once you start taking the antibiotics, you can no longer transmit leprosy, so quickly as possible, cure people so they don't get some of these horrible complications. So diagnose, treat, quick as quick.
The fantastic thing about the Leprosy Mission, I think, is that just as Jesus did, you know, back in the day, we can be a part of curing leprosy here. Here in Aotearoa, we can cure leprosy, we can eradicate leprosy from the planet within our lifetime. An exciting thing to be involved with. For people watching Shine TV at the moment, how can they be a part of the answer here?
Well, I think if you can support the work of the Leprosy Mission, that would be a fantastic way of being able to do that. there are plenty of opportunities to do so. But really praying for our work, getting behind our work, I think there's just this fantastic opportunity to end this disease in our generation. We really, really want to do that. It's really close.
I think one of the things we could be praying for, because of course it's a medical condition, leprosy, but the social stigma, it's tough out there, right?
It is. And
yeah.
I mean, I often share a story of a grandfather who I met in China, and he had leprosy. He was put in a leprosy village. He had children who didn't have leprosy because leprosy is not generational or transmitted. But even his kids weren't able to go to school, even though they didn't have leprosy. And the grandkids, their kids also couldn't go to school because of granddad's leprosy. So that's the stigma that people affected by leprosy, this intergenerational stigma, which certainly I haven't seen in any other disease or anything else. And it's really, really sad. You
must have seen so many good news stories as well, though, of people who have been set free from leprosy, the transformational difference that makes.
Yeah, absolutely. And I've a young guy who I met in New Delhi, India, who had already received treatment for a clawed hand, which is quite a common complication. And to see this young guy now with a purely, a really nicely functioning hand at university, off doing his studies, and you see these stories of transformation, and they're just really, really heartwarming.
It certainly is.
We can make a difference. We can make a difference in the lives of people affected by leprosy.
Now, coming up on the 18th of May, there's a special celebration. Can you tell us about this?
Yeah, well, we've been in Aotearoa for 110 years.
Wow. Wow, that's
quite
cool.
a birthday.
Yeah.
And, you know, when many families in New Zealand have supported the Leprosy Mission, and it becomes intergenerational. A lot of people have told us that, hey, Grandma supported the Leprosy Mission, Grandma and Granddad supported the Leprosy Mission. We want to carry on their legacy. And that's what it is. It's a legacy. It's a legacy of support and transformation. So we're just so thankful for the provision of God, plus the support of so many thousands and thousands of Kiwi families who have worked alongside us to see leprosy defeated and lives transformed.
That's fantastic. I remember my own grandmother was a keen supporter of the Leprosy Mission, and hey, that goes back a few years, I can tell you. What a wonderful way, I suppose, you know, talking about family legacy. I mean, this is something people could do as part of a Mother's Day celebration. If perhaps your mum supported the Leprosy Mission, something you could do as well as breakfast in bed perhaps is tell her that you're supporting the work of the Leprosy Mission. leprosymission.org.nz is the place to go for more information about that. Wonderful way to celebrate 110th birthday as well, Brent.
Yeah, absolutely.
But hey, we appreciate you being on the program. Thanks for joining us.
Absolute pleasure, and thank you for having me.